Hey guys, it's Emily Schaller, and you're watching the Rock CF Boltcast. Before we get started, there's a few things we need to go over. First off, nothing on this podcast should be considered medical advice. Medical advice should only come from your doctor. Views expressed on this podcast are solely opinions of the guest and not necessarily opinions of myself or the Rock CF Foundation. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Rock CF Boltcast.
This episode of the Rock CF Boltcast is sponsored by Genentech.
I'm Nicholas Kelly, Nick. I am 35 years old, Cleveland born and raised, CLE, and I was diagnosed at 3 months. My story of how I got diagnosed is a little different than most people because 35 years ago, they didn't think African Americans could have the disease, so no one would test me for it. It was actually my mother who did the research on her symptoms, and she diagnosed me with CF.
Wow. Moms are amazing, right? And I mean, for her to just like say, let's go, we got to figure this out. Were your symptoms digestive or more lung at the time, or a mix of both?
Both. Because like for most of my youth years, my stomach was a bigger issue than my lungs. And so even as a kid, like, yes, I had a lot of like malnourishment, failure to thrive type of situations. And that all basically caused me to have all these differences. My family treated me the exact same. Like I knew nothing else but like treatments, you know what I mean? Like they were incorporated in my normal life. So I had no idea about any of that other stuff. I didn't know any different. And so for my family, that was the same standard. Like you get up and brush your teeth, I get up and take a treatment. It's all the same. It's on the parent to try to bear some of that weight on their shoulders so their kid can be as normal as possible.
That's an amazing point. I mean, my parents were the same way. They were never sad about it. They never let negativity come in. It was always, like you said, in the hospital, people would come, bring food, hang out, but it was never people sad, crying. My parents never like shamed CF or damned CF. It was just like, this is Emily, she's got treatment, she's got CF, and we're gonna roll with it. And I think, I mean, your outlook on life is so positive, dude, and that's why you're one of the biggest inspirations, not just in our community, but around, because you have this light, this positive outlook, and I'm sure you can thank your mom, you know, and your parents for that, right?
Absolutely. Like, my dad is like the calm. Like my mom be going, she ready to get after it. And my dad is kind of the one like, son, take a chill pill, relax. It's gonna be okay.
We take a lot of this disease on ourselves, but to have parents and family that are the pillars and support us in different ways is so cool, man. So I kind of know how you're gonna answer this just because of what you've talked about in the past with your parents and family, but what keeps you motivated to do all of these treatments every single day and still have a career and do so much with advocacy work?
So what keeps me pushing is legacy. When Nick Kelly's name is said, what is that legacy? What is that impact? That's what drives me. That's what I'm consistently chasing. It didn't come from this desire to want to share, this desire to make a difference. It came from tragedy. One of literally the worst things that ever happened to me. My sister passed, so like my sister's CF sister, but blood couldn't make us close any closer. So she passed, and she would always tell me, like growing up, like, Nick, tell your story. You can really help people. Nick, tell your story. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. And that kind of fueled this progression. And you know, I always tell people, like, if she would have thought I was could have been a painter, I might be Picasso right now. Like, so that's how I really got into speaking and advocacy work, and then it just kind of picked up. So now, at this point now, I've embraced it.
Sometimes it takes a tragedy like that to really steer you on the right, not the right path, but a new path. And the path that you're on now is doing just that. You're changing people's lives, dude, and you're leaving this legacy that's so cool. Even on this call, I've seen you dancing behind the scenes, right? And I've seen your performances on Instagram and social media. It's really cool. Do you just crave the arts and ways to express yourself?
Yes. Like an emphatic yes 10 times over. I love the arts. It is a thing that I love. It fuels me. I it's just something so pure. And it's not just the arts I do. The arts fuel me, and the thing that continues for me to keep searching is that fuel, but passion. To me, passion is the single greatest and single most attractive thing any individual can have.
I mean, even with you, things that I've watched, your cadence and how you talk and deliver things is just like mind-blowing. Like, I sit there and I'm like, holy cow, I feel like so energized just by watching you, I don't want to say perform, but speak. It's so cool. It's so cool. You can just feel the passion coming out of you. It's so ridiculous, dude. How does that tie in with mental health and well-being, and does it, right? Is it connected?
I'm gonna give you guys a Rock CFM exclusive. Okay, this is gonna be an exclusive. I suffer from several mental health issues that most people don't know. I suffer from anxiety disorder, which manifests as OCD. I also suffer from body weight image things, and I also suffer from a different disease state that which causes my mood to shift. And because of those, one of the things that in the process of going through all the depression, all of the things, is writing was the thing that ultimately helps me the most. The arts, that's where those creative outlets come for me. That's what they do for me.
I mean, honestly, thank you for sharing that. I mean, the anxiety for me is real and through the roof, and it's hard to deal with. And, you know, I just started therapy again, and it's like journal, and I'm not one to sit down and write, but I do find that it does help. What is some final advice you would give to people in the CF community? Going through stuff, starting modulators, in the 10%, I don't know, just go with it.
The things I would tell any CFer, young, old, in between, CF really old, you know, whatever in between, the things I would tell them is first, find passion. Life is better when you find passion. Be a kid, and it's not just for the CFers, this is for their parents too. Let your kids be kids.
Yeah.
Let them go roll around in the dirt, and then you want to Perel them afterwards, go ahead. But if you treat them as if they're sick, they will grow up believing they are sick. Try to be normal. Don't allow yourself to think like you're not normal. Think about these are just things you do inside of your routine. Yeah, you might have to do more things. Your friend gets up, brushes teeth, washes his face. So you brush your teeth, wash your face, and then take a treatment. That's one more step, but it's still part of your routine. Everyone's got one. Yours is just a little more elaborate. CF does not have you, you have CF. Treat it as such.